This is the Unfiltered Union.
I'm Linz.
And I'm Russ.
Here is this week's episode. Coming to you live from Hurricane Helene.
I thought it was Helen.
I don't know what it is. We're under tornado watch.
Are we?
We are until like 8 p.m. So.
Standard hurricane procedure there.
Yep. Standard Florida hurricane season.
Yeah.
Did you see the meme where everybody was buying up water except for Dasani and Aquafina?
Well, yeah. I will not say what I want to say.
Why not? Say it.
I might get cease and desisted.
Say it.
I've had that happen to me before.
Yep, not allowed to just voice your opinions anymore. Say it.
No, you can't. You can't review, or you can't properly review things without threat of legal action.
Which is bullshit. But welcome to the Unfiltered Union for that very purpose. Yeah. So, hurricane.
Yeah, it hasn't really started yet. So we're getting our episode out of the way right now on Thursday because of the hurricane. Because who knows, we might lose power for a year.
A year. So dramatic. But during this wonderful hurricane season, this hurricane moment, we have an interview.
We do. We have a special guest today. One that we're both and our child are very big fans of.
Very excited for this one.
Yeah.
Joe Gatto.
This was our COVID crutch. Watching
It was.
Yeah, watching Impractical Jokers was like our thing to do during COVID, being locked inside all day, watching Impractical Jokers. We even watched their specials where they couldn't go out and they did their
dinner specials.
Yeah. Their dinner specials or whatever, breakfast or dinner with the Jokers or whatever it was called. But it was awesome.
It was good.
We loved watching them, and we have Joe Gatto today.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
He is probably my favorite out of all four of them.
100%. He is a guy who does not care. He was the one that if you asked him to do something ridiculous, he did it.
Yep. Full out.
Yeah, he did it. He was like, okay, I'll do it.
Yep.
And we're talking to him today about a couple of things. So one, he has a new special out called Messing with People. He also is a philanthropist. He's a philanthropist.
Good job. First try.
Yeah, he has a dog rescue by the name of Gatto Pups and Friends, and he rescues elderly and unwanted dogs. Mm-hmm. And he also has a podcast. So we're going to talk to him about all kinds of stuff today.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Me too. I can't wait to talk to him. I just feel like he's the kind of person that you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to idolize him or anything, but he just has this personality and attitude that it's like, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Just like be happy.
He doesn't care.
Okay.
He doesn't care what you think about it.
Like,
and that's truthfully, I think breaking down that barrier for yourself is super important because of how hard it can be if you're walking around wondering what people are thinking about you all the time.
Right.
That's not a way to live.
Right.
So stop caring and be Joe Gatto.
Yep. I think in his special, he even says, be kind and just make people laugh. Like it's not that serious.
Oh, yeah. He gives you some tips and tricks on how to do it, too. So I highly recommend watching it. We actually checked it out last night and it was funny. We enjoyed it.
Of course. Duh.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. Love you.
Here we go.
Introducing Joe Gatto.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Were you not expecting me?
Oh, yes.
To see you.
Yes.
I'm here for real.
I had no idea that we were interviewing Steve Carell today.
There you go, man. Here he is. Let me tell you about Gru.
No, we absolutely love you. We have followed you guys through Impractical Jokers, and then also during the COVID, we were just talking about this when you guys were doing dinners together and
Oh yeah,
recording
dinner party. It
those.
was one of my favorite things I've done in my career.
It was awesome.
Yes.
It really got us through COVID.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it filled the
Great.
space, right?
Yeah,
But
for sure.
just to hear from you, what was your favorite part about doing Impractical Jokers and then dinner with friends?
Yeah, I mean, it was all great. Over a decade of my life dedicated to be part of that legacy is so fun. It was having a good time with your friends, just laughing is unbeatable. So I would say there's so many memories I have from that fortunate part of my life. But I think the biggest takeaway is the fandom I have and meeting all these great people that have followed me through my career and my journey. It's overwhelming with love and support. So I'm very happy about it.
Oh yeah, we're big fans. Our kiddo is too, but we're not quite comfortable yet bringing her.
How old's your kid?
She's 9. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I got a kid's book. I got a kid's book. Where's Barry? You got to get you one.
Yeah, we'll definitely check it out with her and stuff.
Sure.
But so your absolute favorite part of Impractical Jokers is everything, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely memorable moments for sure. That pop out. Of course, you got your Scoopski Patatas, you got your Larry bits. You got all the stuff that get yelled at me. I mean, I will say something that's been popping up lately has been Dave Jacobs, which is really fun. One of my favorite improv things I did ever. Q was we're doing the bit in the supermarket and Q starts talking to this guy and he says to Q, how old do you think I am? And Q's like, 54. He goes, add 20. He was 74 years old. He looked unbelievable. And he goes, I'm Dave Jacobs, superhuman athlete. And she was like, what? And he takes out a newspaper clipping from his pocket and he shows him. He carried it around with him. And he goes, yeah, look at it. And he goes, I'm all over YouTube, whatever. So I got the idea. I was like, oh, I'll be right back. And I ran out and I recognized him talking to Q. I go, oh my God, Dave Jacobs, superhuman athlete. He goes, what? You know who I am? And then it just got daisy chained. And then Sal came out and Murr came out. We all took a picture with him. His mind was blown. It was so funny. He's like, are you putting me on? It was so great. That's one of my favorite moments. And I've seen that resurface online, which is really, really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. See, the organic nature of that show was what we loved about it. It was non-scripted, you could tell, and we would just laugh. Our 9-year-old would lose her mind over it.
Yeah, so it's so funny. You'd have some bits that were heavily scripted. You had to think about, like when you had to dress up as characters, and like you had to really write that out and think about things. But then it was just the fun of being with your friends. You're confident because you're with the funniest guys, right? You together collectively, that you'll just crush whatever you're going at as long as everybody jumps in together. So to be able to just be like, you know what, this is what's happening. You'll have this whole bit planned out. Then this woman walks in with this huge hat and you're like, okay, that's out the window. I clearly have to get this hat on. So it's like just that nature of it was always fun.
For sure.
I mean, I think I have to jump to this real quick because everything that you're saying, right, aligns with how you described in Messing with People, your special that you have out right now. We thoroughly enjoyed. It was hilarious.
Oh, great. Thank you.
That you tell everyone, to live in happiness, to be kind, to just, and I think that's your personality, if I can gauge that with, knowing your persona, but it's just going to the max, right? And not caring what anybody thinks about you. And, we obviously love you for that reason, but is that how you view life, like in your day to day?
Yeah, I think, that was a big takeaway from, as you said, Messing with People is my new special that's available on YouTube. It was basically, I toured with that show for 2.5 years. It was called Joe Gatto's Night of Comedy. And then when time was up, it was like, all right, I don't want this just to go away. Let's release it as a special. Then people could see me as a stand-up as well, because a lot of people weren't aware of me in that format. So it's nice. And I really, really enjoyed it. But it's funny when the way that people say, I don't care what people think, really defines on how you can live your life. You can live it 2 ways. You could be like, I don't care how people think, I'm going to have a good time. Or I don't care what people think. And the people that say it that way aren't living life the right way. I mean, that means you're just out here being like caring offending people and whatnot. I think I don't care what people think as long as I'm coming from a place of I'm trying to enjoy every moment I have, because you never know when this ride's going to be over. So you got to try to do that and be with people you care about, have fun with people you care about, make memories, because that's all we leave behind, right? Your legacy is the stories that are told about you when your light is burnt out, right? That's all you have. So I think that's really important to do that. I live that way with my children. I live that way with my family, my friends. I think it's really important.
You have a philosophical side to you that I don't think people have seen.
Yeah.
Because
it's
everything you just said there, it's like,
it's deep. I get deep sometimes. It's fun because you see me on Jokers, I wasn't playing a character as being me. So that's the good part about seeing me in stand-up is like you get 60 minutes more insight of this guy you've just seen on TV who's being himself. I'm not an actor. I don't pretend to be. I don't think I'd be successful in any other show because I'm not, that's not how I'm programmed. I got to be myself and make my friends laugh the way I make them laugh. That's why I succeeded in that show. Embarrassment comedy was always the way I lived my life. Sal would always hate taking elevators or subways with me because he'd be locked in a closed space with me. He knew something was going to happen, so like it was just the way I live. So I think that's important. And be it through my different mediums now, people get to see a lot more. I'm 48 years old. I've had a very up and down, fulfilling life, which has been filled with lots of challenges, lots of, unfortunate events that I've been able to turn into positives. And I think it's really a mindset that needs to be embraced by everybody, especially in these times we have right now where just life sucks if we're going to be honest with each other. A lot of people go through some tough times,
Oh yeah.
So, I have a saying that came out of my thing. It was like, life sucks, suck harder. You just got to get out there and not give up on it. So I think that's important to just be, have that mindset.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for us, Unfiltered Union, the point and purpose of our podcast is exactly what you're saying. You just don't get offended, right? Yeah. So I think that was loud and clear in your special Messing with People.
We're allowed to think different things. Just move on. We can still be friends.
Yeah, okay.
100%. I think, of course, comedy too. It's funny because comedy is 100% subjective. It's the only thing really that is dependent on if people get you as a career, right? People are going to think you're funny. It's one person thinks you're the funniest guy in the world. The other person thinks you're terrible. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just the perception that what makes people what they enjoy. So you have to be okay with that. And for me, like I'm going through my Messing with People, the comments on YouTube, I'm replying to every comment. If people say you suck, I say, hey, thanks for giving it a shot. Be well, because that's fine. If they thought it sucked, it wasn't for them. Different people laugh at different things, and that's always the way it is. So I think that's a very healthy and smart way to approach life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. It's already tough. Don't make it tougher.
Yeah. That's what I try to do in my live comedy too. Like, so I try to make when I do my shows. So I'm on tour now with my new hour. It's called, which is completely different than Messing with People. It's Let's Get Into It. And I try to make it like an event where I don't get up there. I'm not divisive. I don't do that kind of shock comedy. Like, oh, I hate when comics are like, oh, when the crowd goes, oh, and they're like, oh, you don't get it. Oh, did I offend you? Like, that's what you're trying to do. Like, so that's not my type of comedy. My type of comedy is like, look, forget about how terrible life is for an hour. Let's get in here, have some laughs together, just all together. I share stories about my life that I think people can relate to, that I think are funny and serve a little bit of a purpose in my story of, the journey I'm trying to put together over that hour. So I think that's just a different way to approach it. And people have seemed to respond pretty well to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did. Our kiddo did too. She lost it a couple of times.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you with Impractical Jokers, you were all over the streets of New York, pranking people and all that stuff.
Causing a ruckus, for sure.
Causing a ruckus, And but how does it feel to kind of change gears and do arenas? Sell out arenas and perform in that comedy aspect instead of, pranking people on the streets.
On the streets. Yeah. So I've been performing live comedy forever. Like I did it with the boys too, so which was great, but it's a different animal, right? You get that, like I said, it's like an event, right? You want to put on a show for people that they've spent their money on, lined up a babysitter, making it a date night, whatever they're doing, it's like you want to show up for people in a big different way. And that hour could be really impactful, just to get out and smile and laugh, change their perception on people. I've heard stuff which is crazy to me that I can't believe that has happened in my shows. I met one person to meet and greet after. They came after, and it was a couple, and they had gotten divorced, but had bought the tickets and both still wanted to go. So they had separated, and they came out, and this is the first time they were together in about 7 months or 6 months or whatever it was. And I was like, well, did you laugh? And they're like, yeah, we actually were laughing and having a good time. I said, we might not be done here. And then I heard from them a little while later that they actually were giving it another shot, which was interesting.
There you
and
go.
I was like, I was like, yeah. And I mean, you don't think that at all, right? As somebody who's, you're just getting up there being a jerk, having fun, making some jokes, and hopefully people smile and come out. And you don't realize those little pieces. And I found that through Jokers, where we were playing like on repeat through COVID, I have in hospitals, True TV is huge. We have these people that find us when they're going through these things. We play in prisons. people in
Yeah.
prison, it's like all these things you don't expect just messing around with your friends is going to have that. And quickly I learned that, and it had a real impact on me that I'm being that for people. And it was like it's important what I'm doing, not only just to have fun and smile and self-fulfilling for me, but also to be like, hey, come on in. Let's get through this together kind of deal. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so you're telling me that you are a philosopher, a comedian, and
sure.
now you're a marriage counselor.
Yeah, I do it all. I'm a pastry connoisseur. I'm a dog rescuer. I mean, what do you need? I got you. The only thing I'm not is athletic.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you saw an ice cream truck, how athletic can you get?
You know what? I got a good sprint. I hope he hears me yelling. Yeah.
10 seconds.
It's so funny you mentioned that. I literally chased the ice cream truck for the first time. I'm at my sister's house with my kids, and my nephew is 9. My nephew's 10. My daughter's 9. My son is 7. We hear the ding, and we run. I'm like, guys, the ice cream truck. We run from the backyard out, and he's gone. And my son goes, he didn't hear us, and he looks at me with welling up. I said, oh, we're gonna get him. And I jumped in my car in a wet bathing suit. I tore down the road after this, chased down this ice cream truck. I pull over, and I literally honk, and I cut him off. And I'm like, Mike, you missed my kids. And he goes, Joe? And he recognized me. And I was like, yeah, bro. I was like, my kids are back there crying. Come on, we got to go. And he turned around and followed me. And I was honking the horn down the street, hanging out the side window. Like, my kids were jumping like I'm a champion. It was so funny. And the guy was like, dude, can I get a picture? I'm like, absolutely. Come on, let's go.
I think my biggest fear with ice cream trucks, though, because our kiddo's 9 too, it's like, do we have cash?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. They don't take that Venmo. You got to get up in there with some bills.
Yep.
Well, I think you talked about the dogs. So Gatto's Pups and Friends, I mean, they are awesome, right? Your charity that you have going on is amazing. We looked at your list of dogs that you currently have available for adopting and that are a part of your charity. Who names the dogs?
We do. It's a family affair. Yeah. We have a couple volunteers that work with us, a couple people that work with our foundation and with our organization. They're great. And my wife and I, we get into it. My wife has final, and I have really final say. We get pitched some names and stuff. Sometimes I'll come home and because I'll be on the road, and my wife will be like, this is Sprinkles. I'm like, who the hell Sprinkles? I don't know Sprinkles. She's like, oh, we got him Friday. And I was like, all right. So hi, Sprinkles. But it's been great. I mean, Gatto Pups and Friends is our nonprofit here in New York. We were just collecting old dogs. Like, that's all we were doing. And I was like, we probably could do better. Let's look into becoming a nonprofit and helping these dogs find homes. And we just adopted out this last weekend. We adopted out our 120th dog, which is really it's been so great, so rewarding. It really is a family affair. And we have 11 dogs that are our own that aren't up for adoption. And the ones that are up for adoption range anywhere from 4 to, I think we have 12 or 14 right now that are up for adoption. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have so much going on in life, right? You have your comedy shows, you have your podcast, Two Cool Moms.
Yeah, Two Cool Moms.
Your charity, and I mean, you're also a father and a husband. But what is your secret to balancing it all?
To accept that there's no such thing as balance. I think that's a big thing. I think you put so much pressure on yourself that you miss the moments because you're trying to balance everything. All I can really say is I'm more about focus, less than balance. When you're focused on the moment that's happening right now. If you're going to be a dad in this moment, that's what's happening, and that was a lesson I had to learn when I was going through a lot of my personal stuff, was like, I wasn't ever present in what was going on. If my son says to me, Dad, could you play? Like, I'll find the 5 minutes right now to stop what I'm doing and play, because those 5 minutes could be the best part of his day. And I have fun in it, and it's a moment for me. Or, if I'm thinking about something that I want to write or something, and I'm trying to do something else, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take 5 minutes and go do this real quick, write this down, try to flesh out an idea I have or something like that. And I think that's really important for stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, is to realize it's impossible to balance it. You just got to become happy with where you're putting your focus.
See?
So, yeah.
Joe the philosopher. That
philosopher.
Is the next
I got my
special
philosopher.
we need.
Yeah. I had a lot of time thinking by myself. When I went through the separation with my wife, it was the first time that I was living by myself in 47 years. I had always had a roommate. I was at home, or I'd live with my wife or whatever. And you end up in this apartment by yourself. And it's like, whoa, how did I get here? So it leaves you with your thoughts for a while. So you sit there and you think a lot, and you try to set together a plan. And I think it's an important part to to ponder, because life could get tough and you need to find your little tips and tricks for yourself and what helps you cope with it.
See, I'm telling you, write a book, Joe Gatto's philosophy, because that is amazing. Like, amazing advice.
Yeah, you got a kid's book. How about the adults now?
Yeah, you're right. I got Where's Barry for the kids. I got to come on like How to Survive by Joe Gatto.
Right.
Yep, life sucks harder. Right?
Life sucks harder. That's a great tagline. You know, yeah. It's funny because when we did that dinner show, you know, I had the inspirational posters behind me.
Yes,
and that became a thing. That became a thread within the show, within Dinner Party, which was so fun. I remember sending them to like Kinko's to get printed. You know, I was getting them at the Office Max. They were getting done, and it was so funny when they would come home, and the boys couldn't wait for me to reveal them during each show. It was so fun.
That's awesome.
Well, we can't thank you enough for your time today. We appreciate you coming on here at Unfiltered Union. Again, we're huge fans, and we absolutely love everything that you do. Yep. So keep it coming, Joe. Please.
You're wonderful. Just you know, thank you so much for having me. Go to joegattoofficial.com. It's got the links to everything I do, and that's where you can find it. It's the official website, guys. Don't go to joegatto.com. I don't know what he's getting into. Yeah, joegattoofficial.com is where you can find, you know, where I'm going on tour, ticket links, how to watch my special on YouTube, and then of course the kids book and the charity as well.
That sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys are great. Thank you. This is really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
See, that was fun.
That was so much fun.
Oh my goodness. I did not understand, or I don't know how we got an interview with Steve Carell.
Stop. The fact that he laughed at that though was awesome. Like he was.
Well, I mean, it's his joke.
Said it to you before he said it in the special. I was like, he looks like Gru.
Yeah, you did. And then he said it in the special. We were both like,
no, but that was awesome. He seems like one of those people. I mean, we say it about almost everybody we interview, right? That we could talk to them for hours.
Oh yeah.
And it just goes to show, like, when you have a certain personality, right? It's easy.
You could learn a lot from him, like just being able to chill. You know, just hanging out with the buddies and making each other laugh. That's all you need.
Yep.
Laughter is a good medicine, and he's very good at dispensing said medicine. So he's kind of like a pharmacist too. Philosopher, comedian,
marriage counselor, and now pharmaceutical person. Doling out dopamine. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. Laughter dopamine.
But that's another good tagline. Doling out dopamine.
Ooh, easy.
No?
It sounds kind of rough.
Oh, okay.
It fits Florida, but I don't know about the other countries. Countries?
Woo! Come down from your high. I'm talking to Joe Gatto.
Yeah. That was, I highly recommend you all check him out, though. He just said his links, joegattoofficial.com. And
you looked angry about that .com.
Well, I was just kind of like making sure I said it right. But yeah, he does the philanthropy with his Gatto Pups and Friends, and just check him out. He's a good person.
Yeah, absolutely. Based on, you know, just talking to him for that short amount of time, it's like he is the type of person that I would want to hang out with.
100%.
And learn from. I mean, in his special, he talks about being, you know, kind of a nerd when he was a kid. And I can relate to that, one, but also that he is very eloquent when he gets in his philosopher hat, right?
Oh,
the stuff he was saying was like truth bombs.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Kids' books. And now I seriously think he needs to do an adult book. Because I'd read it.
Yep. I agree.
Like I said during the interview, we utilized Impractical Jokers as our COVID thing.
Right. It got us through COVID.
It was a COVID tradition, I guess you could say. We would come home from work, or not come home. We would log off of our computers from our home office, and our kiddo would be ready to watch it too. We would eat dinner, and we would watch Impractical Jokers, and it was nice.
Yeah.
Made us laugh.
A silver lining to that crazy time.
Yep.
But we are still in Hurricane Helene.
Helen.
If you say so. So it didn't take out our power, which was awesome.
Well,
and we got to interview Joe.
We did get to interview Joe. I was concerned big time about it, but I will say we're not in it yet. We are getting
we're in the bands of it.
Yes, we are getting the outer bands currently, and the major stuff is supposed to happen in a few hours our time.
Yes. But again, we live in a place in Florida, Central Florida, where people on the coast evacuate too.
Yep.
So we're safe. We believe we're safe.
If you care enough, we're safe.
We're good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just making sure because you make it sound like, oh my God, it's coming. We're safe.
Oh, it is. It is going to be catastrophic for certain people.
Absolutely. And Big Bend, it's 15 to 20 foot surge right now.
Yes.
That's insane.
Dennis Phillips for our area has said, evacuate, run from the water.
Yep.
And hunker down for the wind.
Yep.
And ours is wind and rain. That's it.
Yep. No storm surge where we live,
no.
Which is a good thing.
No,
but
all the school systems around us get shut down because they use them as shelters for people.
Speaking of, they just canceled school for tomorrow too. So
yep.
Kiddo has been home for almost 3 days. We are losing our sanity.
Yeah. Yeah. And you try to tell her like, hey, just because you're off school, you still got to do some work. Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah.
What is that? Super Saiyan? She goes Super Saiyan?
She goes Super Saiyan or Hulk.
Okay. All right. So maybe not so nerdy to say Hulk versus Super Saiyan. All right. Nerd flag.
Yeah. See, you identify as a nerd now.
Yes. That didn't change with adulthood.
I was getting ready to say.
Yeah. My friend said aging is mandatory, but maturing is optional.
Yeah. That's what's wrong with me.
I agree. I agree. Yep, that's one thing we can agree on.
Love you.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Unfiltered Union. If you enjoyed this episode, click like and subscribe. And check out our merch on unfilteredunion.com. It's what you do with things you love.